Hello, my wonderful movie peeps. I just got back from watching Beau Is Afraid, and with this third Ari Aster picture, we follow a man named Beau, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who, yes, is very much afraid of anything and everything. He's extremely paranoid, has anxiety, but kind of worst of all, some deep, dark, twisted mommy issues. And through the course of a 3-hour runtime, you will see Beau attempt to go visit his mother. And that's all pretty much without giving you spoilers to you guys. This will be a spoiler-free review. How do I talk about this movie? What did I just see? So look, when it comes to Ari Aster, I find him to be a talented filmmaker. I might not love everything he tries to put on screen, but you can't deny there is a level of talent there. He has a very unique and wild approach to the things he does, and what he did with Hereditary, I loved. I remember walking away with that movie so happy, so intrigued, so hopeful to see what other kind of movies this man would create. Then we got to Midsummer, and although I didn't love it as much as Hereditary, in fact, I kind of disliked the film when I first saw it. After several months and then a repeat watch of the director's cut, I found myself really enjoying it. Not as much as Hereditary, but on second viewing I had a bigger appreciation for it. So, of course, with Beau Is Afraid, I wanted to see what else was up his sleeve. And walking out of it, this by far has to be one of the most divisive times I've ever had in a movie theater. I don't even know how to express how I truly feel about it. There's a lot of good in here, but there's also so much weird and bad that I'm like, did I like this? Did I hate it? I know I didn't love it, but will I love it someday? That's where I'm at with Beau Is Afraid. Look, let me get into the things I absolutely loved about this movie. For one, Joaquin Phoenix. If there's anybody that's ever deserved A-list acting status, it's Joaquin Phoenix. He always finds a way to blend himself into the role, and with Beau as this super paranoid anxiety being, I found myself enjoying him. He was very easy to follow and root for. There was a lot of times I was feeling bad for him, and going through this existential crisis throughout the movie, I wanted to see some sort of happy ending for him, or at least one or two positive things to happen to him. The cinematography of this movie also blew me away. That's one thing about Ari Aster films. Although they might look differently, they are always gorgeous to look at. The use in lighting, the colors. Ari Aster gets a lot to play with in here. There's a certain section within the middle of the movie where we just kind of get put into this real life play, and there's a mix of like animation and stage work, and all of it just looks great. And I'll even say like the first hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes, yeah, weird stuff was happening, the story might have been all over the place, but I was really enjoying it. I thought I was gonna be one of those cool intellectuals walking out of Beau Is Afraid going, you didn't like it? Nah. Shame on you. I thought it was a marvelous masterpiece. Let me go buy an A24 hat and wear it every day. If the movie had stayed with that pace in the first hour and 20 minutes, where you're just in this exaggerated world, kind of viewing things through Beau's perspective, where if there's a crazy man down the street, you'll see him as a wild dude holding a knife waiting to stab you once you get close to him. It's a pretty chaotic, miserable world, and it makes you feel bad for Beau, and it made me really intrigued to see the journey he would go on once he steps foot out of his comfort zone to try and get to his mother. But then we hit a halfway point in this movie. And in this halfway point, the film just starts losing me minute after minute after minute until I'm like, how many more minutes do we have of this movie? And this isn't even a situation where I mean like it's such a confusing story or things are so all over the place, you're not going to understand it. I feel like you can pretty much understand what Ari Aster's going through. It's a man with mommy issues, and you see that very heightened up. There's obviously underlying themes going on here. Stuff dealing with guilt, childhood trauma, and things that makes us the way we are today. And in this strange cocktail of a story, it can get frustrating because it feels like sometimes Ari Aster throws you a bone and lets you know clearly what's going on here, what's real, what isn't. And then there's like dozen other random things that feel like they have no other purpose in the movie other than just to be weird. You know, there's some things I can point out and go, oh, okay, well, this character and what happened there, that's clearly a metaphor for Beau's interpretation of this, blah, 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 blah. But there are so many other weird aspects that it just leaves you with a migraine trying to go, what could that have possibly have meant? And you know, maybe the opposite is actually the point. Maybe it's just there to be there. Maybe not everything has a purpose, and that's fine. Forgive me for wanting a coherent narrative and trying to just enjoy my 3-hour time at the movies. Joking aside, I'm sure there's definitely going to be that crowd that enjoys this, that sees it as a masterwork, because I myself am already having that after effect. The most angriest I was with this movie is the minute it was over. And trust me, I was wanting it to be over for like an hour already. I was like, finally, but once those credits started to roll and Ari Aster's name came up, I just had the knee-jerk reaction to go, Oh, fuck you. In the way you would say to somebody as if they just wasted your time. You know, the drive home from the theater, I was just like, man, come on, what did that even mean? Was that like, I did like this, I didn't like that, and I went to sleep, I woke up, and I've nonstop been thinking about this movie since I saw it. And of course, once you get to the ending, and a couple of twists and turns have been revealed to you, which, yeah, there's some decent twists and turns here. It makes you go back to some of the earlier things you were watching, things in the background, little moments that now make a little bit more sense, and there's an appreciation I'm starting to grow for this movie. There's things I'm starting to like about it. It's even to the point where I'm curious to want to see it a second time to see if everything I've learned by the end and where the story is headed, if it'll make some of the things in the earlier movie that was losing me, make me go, oh, okay, I get it now. But I don't know if I really want to sit through this movie again. And that's such a strange feeling to have, but that's also kind of like the beautiful aspect of cinema. A movie that you like just viscerally hate at first, and then as the hours, days, months, years go by, you look fondly back on it like, that was interesting, that was a cool concept. You pop it in once more and you like it. That could easily happen to me with Beau Is Afraid. I could wake up 5 years from now, decide to put it on, and I was like, wow, this is cool, because there's definitely a lot of interesting things happening in the background, open for discussion. I mean, I've already gone to a couple of like Reddit pages or forums where people are discussing certain aspects of the movie just because I want to hear what some other people would interpret certain things to be. And just seeing the movie debates and back and forth of what some people interpret certain things to be is fun to me. But I think it also goes to show you how niche of a movie this is, because you know who this film was just made for? Just Ari Aster. You know, he calls it his most proud work, and that's awesome for him that he got the chance to do that and really just put all of himself into this movie. But for now, it just really wasn't a film for me, and it's not even a film I can recommend anybody go see. But even with me hesitant to recommend it to you, there's still a part of me that like wants to introduce this movie to you and show it to you, because it might hit a chord with you in a way that it didn't with me. There's such specific deep-seated issues in this movie, and also it's not even a horror movie. I've seen a lot of people build it up as a horror film. There's definitely blood, violence, a really awkward nudity, but by no stretch of the imagination is this a horror movie. I would say it's more of a dark comedy, and there are like funny things about it, both intentionally and unintentionally. But I don't know, it's just a difficult movie, because like I don't want to say it's garbage and trash, because there's such amazing work done in this film. And I don't even want to say I like it either, because the things I do enjoy about it, I don't feel strongly enough about them yet to just say I like it. I don't know, this might have been my worst review on the channel. So look, for Ari Aster's Beau Is Afraid, I'm gonna give action 3 stars. While you do have moments of like Beau running away, getting attacked, explosions, shooting, stabbings, in the long runtime, those scenes are far and few in between, so you don't really get to feel a lot of that action. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. This is more of a dark comedy. There are some really interesting moments of humor. Not everything absolutely landed with me, but there's a lot of stuff in here that'll just get you chuckling. Drama in the film, you would think this would be like a 5 out of 4 star movie for me, just because of how artistic and heavy-handed it is with the symbolisms, metaphors, and clearly dense narrative. But at the end of the day, if it's not cohesive or enjoyable to follow along with, it's not a story I always want to dive back into, so for me it'd be 2 stars. But that's definitely going to fluctuate for a lot of people. Horror in the movie, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. I mentioned it's not necessarily a scary film, but there are a lot of unsettling things about it, some shocking imagery. I mentioned there's blood and stabbing, but at no point do you get the sense that this is a horror movie, just a very disturbing film. Suspense in the movie, I'm going to give it 3 stars. For a good chunk of it, I am worried about Beau. I want him to see him get through this journey, end up going to his mom's place, but that halfway point hits, and the movie just drags on to the point I just want to be out of that theater. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it an F. This is just gonna be a hard movie to recommend to a casual moviegoer. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it an F. You know, A24 is usually the opposite of mainstream media here, and this film is one example of just experimental art, which is great, but just not gonna be enjoyed by all cinephiles. And critically, I'm going to give it a C+. These are gonna be the people who enjoy it the most, the film analyst or film bros, if you will. For Ari Aster's Beau Is Afraid, as odd and crazy as this movie is, you still need to watch it someday, but choose to rent it at home.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
Again, that's just my opinion on the film. We all love different things here, and if this film struck a chord with you, I'm happy you loved it and enjoyed it. I'm still going to be looking forward to the next thing Ari Aster does, but it'll be kind of cool to see how this movie ages over time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films, but as always, I'm Chris. Take care.